Welcome to Foley Field in Athens, Georgia. SEC Network Baseball on this Friday evening to start a three-game weekend SEC series with the Missouri Tigers in town to take on the fifth-ranked and first-place Georgia Bulldogs. Speaking of first-place Georgia Bulldogs, 3 weekends left in the regular season schedule. Georgia continues to lead the SEC, has a half-game lead on second-place Texas A&M, a game-and-a-half lead on third-place Texas. You see Missouri at the bottom of the conference at 4-17. And good evening, I'm Matt Stewart, joined by former Georgia Bulldogs All-SEC catcher, assistant coach, and two-time minor league All-Star Jason Jacobson. Jason, on paper, you look at this: Georgia first place, Missouri last place. You think mismatch. That's hardly been the case. Missouri actually leads the all-time series between these two teams at Foley Field 10-8.
Yeah, and in this point in the season, you can't take anything for granted. So much talent in the SEC. Any team can win on any given day. So Georgia really needs to focus on what they got today, because Missouri, like you said, has a history of playing them very tough.
Georgia gunning for their first SEC regular season championship since 2008, led by Daniel Jackson, who's in the mix for all the major national awards, including SEC Player of the Year.
Yeah, he really does it all. Got off to a hot start, really set himself up for success. Had a little bit of a lull, but has come on hot here as of late. He does it all. Hits for average, hits for power, and steals some bases for you.
He's had multi-homer games twice in the last 6 games and homered and had 5 RBI against Troy on Tuesday. Missouri obviously has their deficiencies in last place, but their pitching has been pretty good at times, and McDevitt will get the ball for him tonight.
Yeah, and I think if you're Missouri coming on the road, you're always looking to avoid the sweep. You want to get one. So they're going to have to manage their pitching in such a way to put their best guys in positions where maybe Missouri has a lead or it's a tight ball game.
Well, the right-hander McDevitt on the hill for the Tigers tonight, and Joey Volchko getting the ball for the Bulldogs, making his 12th start of the season.
Yeah, Volchko's really settled into that Friday night role. Really outstanding stuff. It all starts with the fastball. Going to be from 92 to 97. That just depends on how much he wants to move it from right to left. Throws a cutter most times, and a little bit slower one that kind of turns into a slider.
So Missouri at 21-23 overall stands in there, and the first pitch is a strike, and this is White at the plate. He has been their top hitter, 10 home runs, 42 RBI for the South Carolina transfer. And the 0-1 pitch fouled back, and he's quickly behind 0-2. Has kind of taken over that top spot in the batting order here. Did that in the Arkansas series when the Tigers were able to claim one win, the series finale 6-1 last Saturday. That snapped a 28-game home losing streak in conference play for the Tigers. That pitch is a ball outside, 1-2 to Woita. What's interesting, though, is, and we talked about this with Carrot Jackson, I'm always shocked when I see Missouri's record, because every time I see them in person, they are uber competitive against the Bulldogs. Line drive, inside out, swing into left field for a base hit, and Woita is aboard to start this game for the Tigers.
Yeah, good job there by Woita, falling behind 0-2 very quick, got wide, spread out, cut the stride down, and just played a little bit of defense there. Volchko came in hard with a cutter on the hands, and he just flicks it out there. Definitely beat him deep. With O'Shaughnessy shifted over into that 6-hole, he found some room there on the left side.
So White picks up his team-leading 47th hit of the season. He's aboard to start this game. You see O'Shaughnessy at third base today. We'll go through the Georgia defense. It's a little bit different than has been typically over the last couple of games. And here's Durnan, the catcher. Strike one to Durnan. Cam Durnan, the junior out of Lynn Creek, Missouri. Transfer from Wichita State, batting .297, 4 homers, 16 RBI. Volchko, that pitch is fouled off by Durnan. It goes off of Daniel Jackson.
It sounded like he got shin guard, but he kind of winced with that leg down. Might have gotten a little bit of shin guard, a little bit of thigh. Part of being a catcher.
You know, and that play right there really kind of exhibits just how incredible Daniel Jackson's season has been. In my mind, separates him from some of the other candidates when it comes to the national awards, because he's a catcher. This is the 40th game that he's caught this season.
No, I would definitely agree with you. It's tough to stay fresh. Obviously, you see the foul tips. You know, you get one off the forearm, that affects your swing, and you got to go back out there and continue to perform. So I think that does add to how impressive an offensive season he's having.
It also is a little nerve-wracking when your best offensive player is also your catcher, because the catcher is in a position where he might get banged up and get hurt more than anybody else.
No, very good point. And he does a great job behind the plate. He's controlled the running game very well throughout the year. And as you mentioned, has logged quite a few innings back there.
He's a solidly built young man. I compare him to a fullback or a linebacker.
Yeah.
He's durable and able to take the punishment back there. But again, this is the 40th game that he's caught this season. Durnan bounces that one foul down the first base line, and the count is 2-2. Durnan making his 33rd start this season tonight. Wojta already on board at first base with a leadoff single. And the 2-2 pitch to Durnan. Missed inside with the fastball. Now it's 3-2.
A couple of good at-bats here, especially with 2 strikes by the first 2 batters in this Missouri lineup. Really working counts, spoiling some pitches. You saw Wojta able to find some room on the left side. See what Durnan can do here.
Here's the 3-2 from Volchko. And that missed low and away. First and second here for the Tigers.
And nothing new here for Volchko. He always seems to be kind of a slow start. Usually his first inning's the toughest one for him to get through. But if he can, and he can get there unscathed, he can have a heck of an outing. But the only thing you worry about is that pitch count running up. He's had a couple of tough first innings where maybe a lot of damage wasn't done, maybe a run or 2 scored, but 25, 30 pitches.
Here's Blaze Ward, and that's a strike to Ward. Coach Jackson says this is their best hitter on the team. Called him a different kind of cat. That's great for them that their freshman is such an important piece to their puzzle. Shows bunt. Takes it outside, and it's 1-1. So Wojta down at second already, and Durnan's at first. Volchko in some early trouble here, top of the first inning. Pitch outside, and it's now 2-1. Against Arkansas a couple of weeks ago, Volchko gave up 3 runs on a hit and a couple of walks. So he's one of those guys, sometimes you got to get to him early. If you don't get to him early, he can rally and dig back in. And in that game against Arkansas that Georgia eventually lost, he did rally and pitch 5 innings. Despite the early trouble, the 2-1 pitch, bunted foul, 2-2. And
the trouble with that slow start that Volchko sometimes has is, like I said, he gets up there in pitch count. So even if he battles through and gets unscathed later on, the 5th, 6th inning, that tax kind of catches up. And sometimes his slider will be a little bit flat. Extra bases could show up.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Ward, bouncer right back to Volchko, looking for a place to go with it, decides on first, and there's one down as everybody moves up 90 feet.
That's a tough one right there. Volchko did the right thing. Ball back to him. He looked at the easy double play, but nobody was there at the bag. I don't know if there was a miscommunication there between Phelps, who doesn't normally play second base. You can see both guys kind of ran to the bag. No one was really there. I think a wise decision just to take it out right there from Volchko rather than force it and possibly throw into an error.
Here's Mateo Cerna, the catcher, batting cleanup. Strike 1, 95-mile-per-hour fastball from Volchko right there. Missouri has been, like a lot of teams, if they can score first, greatly increases their chances of success. They are 13-6 when they score in the first inning. 0-1, and Cerna swings and misses. It's 0-2.
A couple of really good cutters there. We'll see if Volchko can find that arm side slider. Just leaving it a little bit arm side in the first couple of batters. That's a big part of his game. Hitters just give up on it. Lefties think it's a fastball away, and then it comes back across the plate.
And you see they've also outscored their opponents 41-15 in the first inning. 0-2 pitch, line drive, and Branch has it for the out. Great play by Branch to glove that before it hit the ground. And so there's now 2 down and nobody advances.
Good job right there. Similar type of approach as Wojta. Did Ward have seen it deep? This one jams him up. and it had a whole lot of English on it. Colby just kind of dropped down almost like a catcher to smother it, was able to get it in the air.
And that was the key. Javaro January, the second base umpire, to make sure that ball didn't hit the ground. Here's Caden Peer, the center fielder. Strike one to Peer. So defensively for the Dogs, you got Jackson behind the plate. Hudson's at first base. Phelps is at second base today. Branch at short, and O'Shaughnessy at third. Peer, who's missed some time with injury this year, falls behind in the count 0-2. Peer has started every game that he's played, today being the 33rd out of their total of tonight, which will be 45th game of the season. That's a ball, 1-2.
There's that backdoor slider. He just hasn't quite found it yet to this point.
See Coach Carrick Jackson in the background there behind Peer. He played baseball with Peer's daddy. Here's the 1-2 pitch. A little bit off the plate. Crowd disagrees. Count now 2-2.
And that was it. That was that backdoor slider. Looked like he executed it. Crowd wanted it. I think Daniel Jackson wanted it as well. Again, the umpire's got to get used to it too. That was awfully close. Hit a spot. Maybe just stayed a little off the plate.
How soon before we have ABS?
Golly.
Here's the 2-2.
There it is.
Called strike three. And Volchko gets out of the jam. The first two reach, and Missouri comes up empty. And a strikeout by Volchko to end the inning. Bulldogs batting when we get back. Back in Athens, bottom of the first, and there's Josh McDevitt, starting pitcher for the Tigers, 6'2", 195 junior out of Effingham, Illinois, making his 12th start of the season, the 17th of his career.
Yeah, and it all starts with the fastball for him. Metrically, you don't really see anything unusual about it, but the way that hitters react to the fastball, it's very sneaky. You'll see guys getting the fastball counts and maybe get beat a little deep, even though the fastball is upper 80s, low 90s. It just kind of sneaks up. Changeup is his best secondary pitch. The curveball, more like a swerve. It's hit or miss. So if he can find it early on, it's a good pitch for him, but it's fleeting. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. He'll mostly be relying on that fastball changeup. Yeah,
that fastball is going to be the thing, though. Coach Jackson says he's seen a lot of great hitters really get fooled by that. They just don't see it that well, for whatever reason. In the batting order for the Bulldogs, #1 offense in the entire country, and Dan Jackson, of course, 23 home runs, leads the SEC. He's tied for third in the nation. Bulldogs with 5 right-handers and 4 left-handers in the batting order, facing the right-hander McDevitt tonight. Some different changes there. You got Oriach in the lineup. Been a while since we've seen him grab a bat. He's DHing tonight. Brennan Hudson, we had a chance to talk to him, and we'll share that as we go throughout the evening. But what a season Brennan Hudson has had with 16 home runs now. Here's Trey Phelps to lead things off, playing second base today. First pitch is a fastball outside, 94 on the radar gun, and it's 1-0 to Phelps. He's out of Atlanta, was at Norcross High School until COVID hit, and then finished up at Georgia Premier Academy down in Statesboro. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Phelps, and that's going to be a base hit in the left field. So Phelps aboard to get the thing started for Georgia. His 64th hit of the season. He's 5th in the SEC.
You can see that ball just kind of, it's mid-90s. It's a good speed fastball. Not anything that they don't necessarily see on a weekend-to-weekend basis, but Phelps just got a beat a little bit deep there. Found some room on the left side, but in a fastball count just got on him a little quicker than you expect.
Well, here's the Rhino, Daniel Jackson. And that's hit hard to the second baseman. Could be two, and it is. Is it? It is. Throw pulled the first baseman, Wojda, off the bag, and he was able to apply the tag for the 4-6-3. Don't see that very often from Daniel Jackson, although that is the 5th time that he's hit into a double play this season.
Yeah, and that's one of those, you get the scouting report and you say, yeah, this guy has a sneaky fastball. That might be a good decision, maybe see one first before you go after the first pitch, although that was middle. Good pitch to drive into the gap, and we've seen Daniel Jackson do it a ton. Again, just a little bit late on it.
Here is the center fielder, Rylan Lujo. And Lujo goes after the first pitch and pops it up out of play.
So nothing but fastballs. It's like we expected here so far in the first 4 pitches of this game.
Would Lujo count as the biggest surprise on the Georgia team this year? His .353 batting average is number 8 in the conference.
Yeah, I don't think you saw it coming because I don't think he was the same guy in the fall or even at the beginning of the season. He's really matured as the season has progressed and become a very rounded baseball player and a fixture right there in the middle of the lineup here batting third tonight.
That second pitch to Lujo was the first non-fastball.
Yep, that was that curveball there heading the count 0-1.
So the count 1-1 to Lujo. Throws it again, didn't he?
Yep. So a couple of breaking balls. They look pretty good. That's one of those things where you test it out early on. He repeated with it to see if he could hit with it. 1 out of 2 pitches, what you expect out of the curveball. Got the benefit of the doubt on the call there. It looks like Lujo was asking for some clarification if that was as far in.
1-2 fouled back to the screen.
As home plate umpire DeBramir was going to go. So
Lujo has been the hardest guy to strike out in the Georgia batting order. Just 11 strikeouts in 35 starts and 133 AB. 1-2 pitch to Rylan is outside, and it's 2-2. So he's striking out just once every 12 at-bats.
And it's a simple swing. It's really straight and direct, doesn't get too much wrap. He almost lays the bat flat in his setup. It gets about to even, but it's a good short stroke directly to the ball.
2-2, bouncer on the infield. Third baseman Masonette throws him out. Masonette throws him out for out number 3, and the Bulldogs are retired here in the first. Heading to the second, scoreless in Athens. Here's this week's D1 Baseball Field of 64 tournament projections and the national seeds. They've got Georgia as the number 6 national seed right now. UCLA number 1 and Georgia Tech number 2. Also out of the SEC, Texas is 3, A&M is 5. This is all very interesting since Georgia has a better record than both of those in the SEC. Auburn is number 8, and Georgia will close the season at Auburn. Based on those projections, in a super regional, if everybody wins like they're supposed to, Ole Miss would be playing here in the super regionals. Of course, the Bulldogs just took 2 of 3 from the Rebels out in Oxford last weekend. Here's Donovan Jordan, the left fielder. Tries to put down a bunt.
That's
nicely done. Could be trouble. It's a base hit. So the Tigers are not afraid to bunt. They are second in the SEC in sacrifice bunts.
And that was a beauty.
And this just turns into a bunt base hit. No sacrifice involved.
Again, Phelps a little bit out of position, late getting to the bag. I'm not sure there would have been a play regardless. But a little shake-up here, and I think
Cameron Benson gets hit on the foot. And this is the other thing they do very well, just like Georgia. They're near the top of the conference in hit by pitch. They're third in the conference in hit by pitch. Georgia's second in the conference in hit by pitch. Kentucky, of course, is number 1. So for the second inning in a row, Jason, they've got the first 2 guys aboard.
Yeah, and I would expect to see another bunt here, just keeping the pressure on Volchko, continuing to get that pitch count up.
Eric Meisenet will bat, and you're right, he leads their team in sack bunts. He's got 4, and this would be the perfect situation in which you would be putting down a sacrifice. Instead, no indication that's what the game plan as he takes a strike.
Well, Georgia's anticipating it too. You see how their infield's positioned. O'Shaughnessy up on the grass part of the turf, I guess, the green part of the turf, as it were, as well as Hudson over at first.
Meisenet is out of Puerto Rico. Now he shows bunt and takes the pitch outside, 2-0. Head coach Carrick Jackson has put together a very diverse coaching staff and team. They've got a number of Latin American players on their team. And Meisenet is one of them. He went to school at the Carlos Beltran Baseball Academy. I'm guessing he's pretty good. There's probably an aptitude test you got to take to get into a baseball aptitude test you got to take to get into the Carlos Beltran Baseball Academy.
It sure is. And, you know, when you think about Carrick and the conversation we had, this team just kind of needs to learn how to win. I think that's common when you see guys come from the academy. They're really just developing skills and not necessarily the gamesmanship that it takes to win, especially in a league like this.
Hot shot past the first base coach. And speaking of, Jabari Brown is their first base coach, and Jose Caraballo is their third base coach. One ball, 2 strikes to Meisenet. Fouled back. So first and second here for Missouri. They had first and second in the first inning and failed to score.
Meisenet shaking his head a little bit on that one. There's a slider up in the zone, kind of hung up there for him. But with 2 strikes, being a little defensive, unable to get the barrel to the ball, a little mad at himself, thinks he got a gift there.
1-2 pitch from Volchko. He goes around. Strikeout number 2 for Volchko.
And you got to like the way Volchko keeps his composure and continues making pitches despite the first 2 guys getting on. In both of these first 2 innings, he continues to get that big strikeout when he needs to. He's got the stuff to do it. It's just those high-stress situations early on in the game can come back later in the outing and hurt you.
Here's Pierre Seals, the catcher, the number 9 hitter, the right fielder, pardon me, the number 9 hitter. Strike 1 to Seals. Bulldogs playing back, looking for a double play to get out of this inning. And there's a strike, or maybe not. It was called a ball. I thought it was a strike. 1-1.
Stayed arm side there. That was that front door slider, just not getting the benefit of the doubt. That's two of them that he's executed pretty well. He hadn't gotten the call on. That one might have been down, but it looked like it was right on the inside part of the plate.
Seals picked up his 4th homer of the season in their 6-1 win against Arkansas last Saturday. Daylight play back at second base, and Phelps sneaking in the back door. And they're unsuccessful on the pick attempt of Donovan Jordan. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ball is hit to the right side. It's going to get out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Seals is out of Memphis in a transfer from Dyersburg State Community College. Carrot Jackson was the head coach at Memphis before landing with the Missouri Tigers. This is his 3rd season as the Tigers head coach. Again, the play to the second base and not even close. Now, Wes Johnson has said with Trey Phelps, you might be wondering about him playing second base. But he said with Trey, there's not a position we can play him in except maybe catcher where we have a deficiency, where we're taking a step back from a positional standpoint. And there's a called strike 3.
And there's that front door breaking ball from Volchko. So tough to pull the trigger. As a hitter, you feel like the only thing you can do is rip it foul. And it's so effective, especially with Missouri, seeing the ball as deep as they do with 2 strikes. You really got to catch that ball out front and hope to keep it fair the way that it comes in. Just a devastating pitch.
Here's Wojta, who had an opposite field single base hit his first time up after falling behind in the count. Pitch outside to Wojta is a ball, 1-0. Phelps is making just his 6th start of the season at second base tonight. Primarily has been a third baseman for Georgia this year. 1-0 from Volchko. Breaking ball trying to clip that outside corner. And actually it was a fastball. I thought it had a bend in it.
It did. It was a little bit of a slider there. Took something off. It's tough to tell between his cutter and slider. That one a hard slider there. I think Volchko wanted that call. Jackson letting him know it just did miss, but it was a good pitch nevertheless.
That was a changeup, wasn't it?
Another slider.
It's another slider, okay.
Yeah, another slider. So that's going to break away from arm side. It's tough to tell with Volchko, I will say.
2 balls and a strike. Came back with a fastball, gets him to swing and miss, and it's 2-2.
Yeah, really working that outside part of the plate to Wojta, not letting him get that barrel out. Wouldn't be surprised to see another backdoor slider here.
Ball is hit to the left side. Second time he's gone to the opposite side. Fly ball going to be caught by Allen for out number 3. And that will do it for the Tigers in the top of the 2nd. There's Bulldogs coach Wes Johnson going for career win number 120 tonight here in season number 3. When asked about pursuit of the SEC championship, which would be Georgia's first since 2008, he says, look, if you don't keep pushing that rock up the hill, it's going to roll back on top of you.
Yeah, you got to keep going. That's right.
And so they're trying to push that rock a little bit further up the hill today. That 2008 team went 29-1 and won the SEC regular season championship the last time that Georgia's done that, going all the way back to their very first in 1933. Their best all-time record in the conference came actually in 2019 when the Bulldogs went 21-9 and finished 2 games behind Vanderbilt that went 23-7.
Isn't that wild? You get to 20 wins, generally that's an SEC champion.
Should be, yeah, you would think so. They won 21 that year and were 2 games shy. Here's Oriach to lead off the second for Georgia. Strike to Oriach. So been a while since we've seen Oriach in the lineup here at Foley Field. 1-1 pitch, fouled off, and Cerna has it hit in front of him, hit off him, and hit in front of him, so it's 1-2 now. So this is Oriach's first start since Ole Miss, the opener of the Ole Miss series, which was a week ago tomorrow. So, but the last start for him here was back against Florida. No, that wouldn't have been right. Yep, that's right, against Florida. His last home start. So 2 balls, 2 strikes to Oriach. Called strike 3. So McDevitt gets his first strike out of the game.
Yeah, well-executed fastball here under the hands of Oriach. Dangerous pitch to a lefty, but again, it looked like it just kind of snuck up on him. I think you're going to see a lot of that this first time through the order. It's one thing to see a scouting report and then step in the box and see it executed. So I think it might take these Georgia hitters one time through to get some eyes on this fastball, figure out how to get to it.
There's Ishikawa. Goes after the first pitch and hits it high in the air to left field. Donovan Jordan has it for out number 2. Henry Hank Allen walks up to Hank Williams Jr. Batting in the 6th spot here tonight. Strike 1 to Allen. "13 homers, 41 RBI on the season for Allen, along with a .323 batting average. Hot shot to the third baseman. Meissen at high throw, and I don't think Allen ever touched the bag, and he's down on the ground. He might be hurt. He still has not moved. This is not good. Looks like he fell on that shoulder.
Yeah, I'm not wondering if he tried to plant to avoid this tag and maybe has a leg injury too.
Yeah, they're looking at his leg, not his shoulder. I was thinking shoulder because of the way he was just kind of laying there.
Yeah.
But you're right. It might be his leg, might be his hip. Who knows? My goodness, they're looking at his right knee.
Yeah, he tried to change direction with that outside leg to avoid the tag, and then, yeah, it looked like a tough one.
So we'll step aside for the end of the inning as they tend Henry Allen past the first base bag. So Henry Allen being helped off the field. Hopefully it's not too serious. Hard to tell by looking at the replay exactly what happened, but something with his left leg. And so Henry will be coming out of the game. You can see right there, he laid down. He did not get up and actually didn't move for a long time. Yeah, it looks like he kind of buckled that left knee as he was approaching the bag. And so we'll have to wait before we find out what happens. And then he grabs that leg. You can see as he went to the ground, he immediately grabbed that leg. So Ishikawa is going to move from right to left. And Ryan Black is going to take over for him in left field, right field, pardon me. But he will bat in that spot, which was the left fielder spot. And there's Ryan Black. He's in right field. They moved Ishikawa from right to left, and Ryan Black takes over in right. So Volchko back out there. Still a scoreless game as we go to the top of the third. Matt Stewart and Jason Jacobs. A little bit of a somber mood as we head to the third inning following that injury to Henry Allen, and our hopes are that is not severe. Georgia, by and large, has been able to avoid major injuries this year. They've had a few. Ishikawa had the hairline fracture in his foot early in the season. He's come back from that. And a couple of the pitchers have been sidelined for the season. We found out this week that Pruitt has a fracture in his elbow, and he's done for the year, basically.
Yeah, Big U got scratched early from a start and then missed his next start, but
He's
sounds like he's
tomorrow.
going to be okay. Yeah, it's just a few little hiccups here or there, but like you said, nothing terribly serious.
And hopefully Henry Allen is not serious either. So Missouri batting here in the top of the third, scoreless game. And Durnan batting for the second time. He walked his first time up. So Volchko has been able to work around traffic so far in this game with no damage done.
He has, but up to 44 pitches here just in the top of the third. In contrast, Devitz hasn't hit 20 yet. So you see the pressure that Missouri has been able to put on Volchko and how he's had to navigate.
Yeah, Volchko threw 100 pitches in his last start, which was at Ole Miss last Saturday in the first game of that doubleheader. It was supposed to be a Friday start. They ended up playing a doubleheader on that Saturday because of weather on Friday. He actually left with an 8-4 lead, and Georgia lost that game 10-8. So the count is 2-1 to Durnan. Hit back to the screen. Count 2-2 to Cam Durnan. He's been on base in 29 of their 33 games, or 33 games that he's played. Breaking ball that didn't break across the plate, missed inside, 3-2. And he's had separate 18 and 8 game on base streaks this season. Three-two pitch, called strike three. So that is 3 strikeouts to the last 4 batters for Volchko. And 2 of them looking.
4th strikeout for the game of Volchko. He's really got that front door breaking ball working here. I think that's just so tough, especially with this, like I said, this 2-strike approach from Missouri of trying to see the ball deep.
Here's Blaze Ward. Pitch missed inside to Ward. He bounced out to the pitcher. Volchko, his first time up in the first. Swings and misses, and it's 1-1. Ward was the SEC Co-Freshman of the Week earlier this season, backhanded by Phelps. High throw, and Hudson holds the bag for out number 2. Mateo Cerna, number 8, steps to the plate as Matthew Kaminsky working Foley Field here tonight with the Braves starting on a West Coast road trip. Plays 8 days a week by the Beatles. I thought he was at his creative best as I was watching the Braves and the Tigers play this week. And he was able to work a Nickelback song into the mix. I was finally able to make the connection. That's the game within the game, Jason.
Yeah, he makes it fun. He certainly is creative, and the amount of songs that he knows, just really incredible.
He's a savant.
Yes, no doubt.
1-1 pitch, line drive, center field, base hit. Cerna aboard. It's a 2-out single. So they've had at least one base runner in every one of their first 3 innings. Caden Pierre steps up there to dock of the bay. Pierre, dock. Pitch outside to Pierre. He's been on base in 27 of the now 33 games in which he's played. Had a 22-game on-base streak after returning from an early season injury. Then had the streak end when they lost to South Carolina on April 9th. They've won 1 SEC series. That was on the road. They won 2 out of 3 at Kentucky. Chase back throw. Cerna back in there on his stomach. And the Tigers have gone 1-6 in SEC series. But again, story within the story. Coach Wes Johnson talking to him before the game, he says, look, I could make a strong argument. I could show you Missouri should have 9 wins right now. So they've had a lot of tough luck in there, or games where they just didn't execute when the game was there to be had. And offensively, you know, Carrick Jackson admits his offense, a lot of times they got stuck chasing after base hits.
Mm-hmm. You know, and it goes back to the conversation we were having with Carrick Jackson, just about learning to win. I mean, I think it's a tough thing to describe, but you can have all the talent in the world and the right mix of guys, but there's just something about coming together as a team and figuring out how to get that big knock when it counts or make that big pitch when it counts, just playing the game.
Here's the 2-2 pitch, slap foul. And I think that's perhaps even more difficult now than ever before with the transfer portal and infusing so many new guys every season. And the new guys aren't freshmen, they're players coming from other programs.
Mm-hmm.
Tapper on the infield. Hudson gets it, slips a little bit, dives to the bag, and got him. Brennan Hudson with great hustle. Let's see if Missouri challenges here. Doesn't look like they're going to. Hudson looked like he might be in trouble when he did a little bit of a Scooby-Doo there.
Yeah.
Feet slid out from underneath him.
But a great job, good hustle, full extension, and he does get there in time. A good no challenge right there. I think could have taken the flip to Volchko. He was getting over, but just decided to take it himself. Leave no doubt. Good play.
4-17 in the conference, and 3 of their 4 SEC wins have come against ranked opponents. Ended a 9-game losing streak with their win against Arkansas last Saturday, 6-1. Also ended a 28-game home SEC losing streak. They had not won at Taylor Stadium since the 2024 season until beating the Razorbacks on Saturday. It's a tough job. Got the shift on for Hudson as he stands in there. And ball 1 to Hudson. And a chance to catch up with Brennan before the game. There's a strike, and it's 1-1. Has really had a fine second season here in a Bulldogs uniform after transferring from Georgia State. Starting at first base, which is pretty much what he's done most of the season, that or DH. He'll get an occasional start there at catcher, although Daniel Jackson doesn't take many days off behind the plate. So the opportunities there are few and far between. 2-1 pitch from McDevitt is in there for a strike, and it's 2-2. Hit his 16th home run of the season on Tuesday against Troy. That ball got out of here in a hurry. It was a laser shot as that ball is knocked out of play. "16 home runs this season, as many as he had his first 3 seasons combined. And you can see a significant jump in the slugging percentage as well. He had 1 in his first season as a freshman at Georgia State, followed by 12 in season 2. And then he had 3 last year in his first season with the Bulldogs for a total of 16, and he's already matched that number this year. Here's the 3-2 to Hudson, and that's going to be a line drive right into the glove of Ward for out number 1. Stung it, but that's out 1.
Yeah, got a good piece of it. Still beat him a little bit deep is why it didn't accelerate into the gap when it was headed off the bat. And again, that first time through, seen the fastball. You see that it jumps on, you just got to move your contact point up a little bit. Saw a couple of changeups there from McDevitt. Really had some good downward action, almost acts like a splitter.
Here's O'Shaughnessy right there on top of the plate. And he goes around for strike 1. O'Shaughnessy getting the start at third base today. It's just his 7th start at third. He's had 18 starts at first base. 0-1 O'Shaughnessy. This time McDevitt takes it outside for ball 1. Transfer from Davidson. 14 home runs with the Bulldogs this year, over 40 home runs for his career. Of course, most of them coming with the Wildcats. 1-1 pitch in there for a strike, and it's 1-2. So O'Shaughnessy has 46 career home runs. 32 of them came at Davidson, 14 here with Georgia. 1-2 pitch, missed inside, actually nicked his hand. And O'Shaughnessy's going to be aboard with the hit by pitch.
See where this gets him, maybe right on the elbow? Yeah, just got that
Yeah,
elbow guard hanging down. And you know how I feel about the elbow guard. I almost feel like if it hits you in some of that equipment you use to protect yourself, it should just be a ball. You shouldn't get a base. No, got his knuckle. Okay. So he earned that one. But just a graze right there.
Here's Colby Branch.
got him too? Nope. Okay, that was
Nearly
up and
got
in
him
as well.
Do you realize when Abner Doubleday invented the game, in the early phases of the game of baseball, you could throw the ball at the base runner to get him out?
Yeah, I did realize
like
that.
wiffle ball.
That's right. Guys didn't throw as hard, so I guess that was
I'm
a
guessing
little
the
more
baseball
acceptable.
wasn't as hard as it is now. Probably wasn't wound nearly as tight.
You just imagine getting right up on somebody and just pelting them in the back in like a rundown or something. I'm sure the benches would not clear.
One ball, one strike. Well, they called that, furthermore. That, of course, that was very early in baseball. By the time Major League Baseball started with the National and the American leagues at the turn of the 20th century, the game was a little bit more sophisticated than the early days when it was invented by Abner Doubleday in the 1860s. Colby Branch swings and misses.
You see the bottom just fall out of that changeup. This is a good job by McDevitt navigating the lineup. We mentioned a lot of fastballs, and then here to the 8th and 9th hitter in the order, starting to get that breaking stuff going. 3 straight breaking balls to O'Shaughnessy, 3 out of 4 pitches, changeups here to Branch.
2-2 pitch, swing and a miss, and Branch is retired. Strikeout number 2 for McDevitt, and there's 2 down in the inning.
And another changeup, well executed here. You can see the bottom just fall right out of that. Talking to Carrick Jackson, he described it as kind of a split finger action, and you can see it right there. Gets a lot of side spin on that.
Here's Trey Phelps. Ball 1 to Phelps. Just going back to our story about the baseball. Back around the turn of the century, they had what was called the dead ball era in baseball. Far cry from what baseball is today. I think once Ty Cobb led the league with 9 home runs. The ball just was not wound as tight, nor did it travel as far when you hit it.
That wasn't the style of baseball.
1-0, up the chute. Could be the 3rd out of the inning. And it is. Scoreless as we head to the 4th. Joey Volchko has worked in and out of traffic, and so far 3 scoreless innings of 3-hit ball.
And it's really that slider arm side has been so effective for him. You see the front door slider there, little cutter there right at the knees. Doing a good job at commanding that to this point. Missouri's really taxed him though. He's up to 60 pitches at this point, so.
4 strikeouts, and 3 of them have been looking. What does that tell you?
It's just that frees him on the arm side slider. It's such a tough pitch. Lefties think it's outside, and then it clips the corner. Righties think it's right at their hip, and then it comes and, again, clips the corner. So tough to pull the trigger on.
Here's Donovan Jordan, the left fielder, batting for the second time. Singled his first time up and hits this to center field. Going to be caught by Lujo for out number 1. So as a right-handed hitter, which you were, if you're facing Volchko, knowing what are you looking for to try to identify that slider?
Now, spin, generally speaking, you're going to see a dot on it that's going to show slider, but his cutter also has the same dot on it.
Gotcha.
So it's just a little bit harder. So it becomes a little bit more about release point. Does it come out of his hand more arm side or more direct like a fastball? I mean, he's tough. He's a Friday night guy for a reason. So recognizing and hitting are two different things.
Benson at the plate. Swing and a miss. Cameron Benson there, DH. He's a transfer from Memphis, a senior, so he was with the Tigers when Coach Jackson was there. Fouls that one off his foot.
I think that missed the shin guard there, got the inside of his foot. Hopefully mostly shoe. Nope, that does not feel good. Yeah, right there on the instep.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Missed inside that time, off speed pitch, 2-2. Strikes him out. Strikeout number 5 for Volchko. Here's Eric Maisonet. Line drive. His name is pronounced 2 ways. A lot of people call him Maisonet, but I was told the correct pronunciation if you were in Puerto Rico would be Maisonet.
There we go.
So that's what we're going with tonight. 0-1 pitch in there for a strike, and it's 0-2. As for Eric, he says he doesn't care one way or the other. 0-2, pitch outside, 1-2. Picked up his 3rd home run of the season in their 6-1 win against Arkansas on Saturday. One-two pitch goes the other way, and Ishikawa in left field has it for out number 3. That's 4 in a row set down by Volchko as he seems to be settling in. Georgia coach Wes Johnson says Josh McDevitt could pitch for anybody, any starting rotation in the SEC. He would fit right in there. You look at what he's done this season. 4 consecutive starts of 5+ innings, 7+ strikeouts in 8 of his 11 starts, including 11 career high against Arkansas. In his last start, he had 10 strikeouts in his first SEC start of the season against Auburn.
And he's been really efficient with his pitches. He looks really good today. Has all 3 working, the breaking ball for a strike and a ball, the changeup, the bottom's falling out, had a couple of them get away. But again, that fastball command is there. It's sneaking up on these hitters. We'll see, second time through the order, we'll see if they make the adjustment. I think they're in for a world of hurt if they can't, because he's been extremely efficient navigating these first 3 innings in just 35 pitches.
That said, he has not won a game, not won a decision since March 7th against Illinois Chicago.
Really like the way he navigated that lineup the first time through, especially getting through the top of the order with mostly fastball, the occasional curveball. Starts Daniel Jackson off with a changeup right there, and that's the first time he's seen it.
0-1 pitch to Jackson.
Another changeup.
0-2. Two homers, 5 RBI for Daniel on Tuesday against the Troy Trojans.
See if Dan Jackson looks for that changeup right here after that fastball wildly thrown out of the zone as a setup pitch.
Here's the 1-2 pitch outside, and it's 2-2. He's one of only 2 players in the country that are 20-20. 20+ homers, 20+ stolen bases. Hunter Ray, an outfielder for Fairleigh Dickinson, is the other. And he's the first ever catcher in the SEC to do it. And just the 5th player overall ever in SEC history to be 20-20. Jackson goes down swinging. He's 0 for 2 tonight.
Yeah, good sequence. 2 changeups to start. This is a fastball, kind of show me fastball away. Then he goes breaking ball, just missed with that. And then back with 96. Best fastball of the day right there for McDevitt.
3 strikeouts now for McDevitt. And here's Rylan Lujo, who bounced out to the third baseman his first time up. Georgia only 1 hit so far tonight.
First batter of the game for them.
That's right, Trey Phelps. So this is kind of ringing true of what we heard from both of the coaches. Coach Jackson, you know, talking about how some really good hitters, and Georgia has a lineup full of really good hitters, have not been able to pick up that fastball that well. Bouncer, 2 down. So after watching him now pitch, this is the bottom of the 4th. What is it about what you see? Do you spot anything about McDevitt and why it's been such a challenge now for Georgia hitters?
Well, he has a lot of run on that fastball, but not a whole lot of vertical break. So I guess, you know, you don't see the ride metrics, so to speak, where that vertical break is minimal, but he has a lot of movement on it as well, into the right-handers in particularly. But really the ability to start mixing in this off-speed stuff with command, he's throwing it for a strike, so you got to defend against it as a hitter. And the fact that he didn't have to do that to get through the first part of the order, I think he's really set up for success.
Here's Oriach, who struck out looking his first time up. Count now 2-0, and of course the scouting report on McDevitt is the inconsistency in the breaking ball, which is a slurve hybrid between the slider and the curveball. He hasn't used it much tonight, has he?
He hasn't used it a whole lot, but he's used it sparingly, but he's had good command of it. He's throwing it where he wants it to be. And I think a good sign of that was when he went back-to-back breaking balls, missed with the first, came back and got the second one for a strike. As a hitter, you know, okay, I got to defend against that because he does have enough command of it. The changeups are really nasty, too. A lot of side spin, and it kind of bottom drops out very late.
3 balls and no strikes to Oriach. There's a fastball right down the middle. Oriach wearing the hot pink kicks tonight. You got a pair of those in your closet, don't you?
I would wear them often.
3-1 pitch. Hit foul down the first base line. Now we're full 3-2.
See, I like that there from Oriach and also from McDevitt. He goes with the changeup right there in a hitter's count here early on. But Oriach just, thinking fastball all the way is out in front. Good all around. I like the approach. I like the pitch selection.
McDevitt looks in, and here's the 3-2 pitch. Foul back. Oriach in his first season with the Bulldogs came to Georgia out of most recently New Mexico, played for the Lobos, and he was third-team All-American and All-Conference in the Mountain West. 3-2, hit in the air over on the left side. Third baseman Meisenet retreats into the outfield to get it. And the Bulldogs go quietly here in the fourth. Top of the fifth inning. All zeros so far. Missouri, no runs on 3 hits. Georgia, no runs on 1 hit. Been a Friday night pitchers duel with Volchko and McDevitt going toe-to-toe. Volchko's at 70 pitches. He's faced 17 batters through his first 4 innings, giving up 3 hits. Just 1 walk, and he struck out 5. He seems to be getting better.
He is settling in a little bit, went 3 up, 3 down, his first 3 up, 3 down inning in the previous frame. Again, looking to get more efficient. Even a lot of those strikeouts came on 3-2 counts. So want to get a little bit more efficient with his pitches so it doesn't end up catching up with him later on. I think for McDevitt, he's just been super efficient navigating this lineup, done a great job working ahead in the count. Some weak contact, really hasn't been a hard hit ball to this point in the game for either team. Both guys doing a great job avoiding the barrel.
Pierre Seals steps in there to the tune of Summer Breeze from Seals and Croft.
I wouldn't have gotten that one. That'd have been a head scratcher for a while.
First pitch to Seals is a strike. Second pitch is a swung on and miss, and it's 0-2. Tigers went 1-2 this past week. Their Tuesday game at Southeast Missouri State of the OVC was canceled because of bad weather. This after they lost 2 out of 3 to Arkansas last weekend. Thirteen of the Tigers' 21 overall wins came during one winning streak, February 20th to March 10th. Ending in a 2-0 loss to Auburn in the opening game of the SEC season. And 21 games later, they're 4-17 in the conference. Ball is fouled out of play. The 4 conference wins, though, are 1 more than they had last year.
Yeah.
They went 3-27 in the SEC last year.
Wow, that was a tough season for them. Those 3 wins came late. They were over for quite some time.
Swing and a miss, and Seals becomes the 6th strikeout victim for Volchko, and there's one down in the 5th.
A little slider away right there.
How many of those strikeouts have been on sliders?
All but 2. All but 2. He had a cutter on the other 2.
So 4 of the 6. Here's Wojta batting for the 3rd time. Singled his first time up and then flew out to left his 2nd time up an inning later. So both times he's gone to left field. And the 1-0 pitch to Wojta. Fouled off his leg.
Yeah, and that first hit he had did go to left, but it was actually a cutter in on his hands. They've been staying away from him ever since. You can see right there that cutter kind of stayed middle right there, but had enough downward action. Wojta just ends up fouling it off. Actually, that was a slider, so it was a little bit slower.
1-2 pitch from Volchko. Again, goes left side and out of play. Wojta leads them in at-bats, runs, hits, homers, RBI, total bases, slugging, walks, and on-base percentage. Pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Transfer from South Carolina gets a piece of Daniel Jackson there on the foul ball.
I think that got a little bit of everybody on the way back. A little piece of Dan. I think that might have gotten the home plate umpire on the foot, perhaps. Let's see.
Oh, no, not on the foot.
Wishes it was his foot. Oh, goodness.
It was not on his foot.
Oof.
Here's the 1-2. Ball is lifted into right field, and Black has it for out number 2. Cam Durnan. Matthew Kaminsky plays Duran. Fastball high and tight, had to duck out of the way, and it's 1-0. He's had 4 3-hit games this season. Here's a strike. It's 1-1. No hits tonight. Walked in the first, struck out in the third. One pitch outside, 2-1. So we talked about how their win against Arkansas last Saturday snapped a 28-game SEC home losing streak. Their series win at Kentucky a month ago was their first road series win against a ranked opponent since 2021. So Coach Jackson making some slight progress, some baby steps here in the Missouri program.
Yeah, I think it's really a matter of building some culture. He seems pretty intent on doing that. Always tough in this day and age with the portal and all the transfers that you get, but maybe some stability coming with the one transfer, free transfer rule recently been enacted. So
3 balls and 2 strikes. Little blooper on the infield, and that's going to get into shallow center field, gloved by Branch, but no play at first as Durnan picks up his first base hit of the game.
Yeah, that's just a hit them where they ain't type of ball right there, and luckily there was no collision as both Colby Branch and Trey Phelps were going after that ball, trying to cut it off, see if they had a play, but not to be.
And Blaze Ward will step to the plate with a man aboard and 2 outs. And he's 0 for 2 so far tonight. So Garrett Jackson was telling us a story about how they have the acronym TEAM and all of it, and with each letter there's something that each player has to answer. The E in TEAM is you have to answer your expectations and tell something about yourself. And Blaze Ward won over the heart of his head coach when he said, I'm a hitter. That's what I do. I'm a hitter.
That's what I expected. That's what I expected
to
myself.
hit. I'm a hitter. I expect to be a hitter. And he's done that.
I always loved that play with the guy, Daniel Murphy. I was with the Mets. He ended up making it up with them, had a great playoff, ended up with the Nationals for a little while, just could flat out hit. I just remember, hey, what position you play? He goes, oh, I hit third. That was always his line. Love to be around guys like that.
1 ball, 1 strike. Runner goes. Throw down by Jackson, not going to be in time. Oh, they got him.
Yeah.
Did get him. Let's see if they challenge. Durnan motions to his dugout that he wants to challenge. The second base umpire, Chavero January, said that the tag got on his trailing leg on the headfirst slide.
Yeah, it's going to be close. Definitely got him on the back leg. And, boy, Dan Jackson really made up some time. Tough pitch to throw on. Had a lot of arm side run because he had to reach for it, so he was bent at the waist. But a heck of a lot of arm strength. Not sure he got his feet all the way around. No, he stayed open right there. I got him. He got him.
Oh, wow.
I think he got him.
You think?
Right there, yeah.
Let's see.
Tag's down.
If the
right
tag is
there.
right, if the tag is on him, he's out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the other part of the Daniel Jackson story, and one of the reasons why, and we've talked about this a number of times over the last couple of weeks, why I feel like he's a legitimate, close to top candidate, if not the top candidate for Golden Spikes, is just so many intangibles and variables with his game. He's got the offense, so those numbers, that argument's taken care of. But as a catcher, if he gets the throw him out here, this will be his 12th caught stealing of the season.
Yeah.
So we're going to use the Hawkeye technology here to take another look at this.
I mean, the athleticism to get that throw off, we'll see. Looks like he got him right there.
Yep, on the back left foot.
Mm-hmm.
Or was it the right foot? It's between the 2 feet. Where did he connect? Right there, or?
I think it's right there. The hand's still not on the bag, so.
Yeah.
You know, I think he got him. I would say ruling on the field stands, but it is taking a while, so who knows?
Here you go. Unsuccessful challenge for Missouri, and that will end the Tigers here in the top of the 5th. Georgia arguably has the #1 offense in the country, certainly in the SEC, at .323 batting average and 9.4 runs per game. But so far tonight, they're 1 for 11 collectively and have been held scoreless.
Yeah, you know, and really a lot of credit to McDevitt on that, because, you know, even the best offenses, when you're a pitcher and you've got all three working the way that he does now, and he used them so well, navigating that first part of the lineup. Again, started getting the off-speed stuff going to the 8 and 9 guys as the top of the order started rolling back around. They've had 2 different looks to this point, the second time through the order. really set yourself up for success. And it's tough when you run into a guy that's got all three working. It's going to be a long day. So you got to grind some at bats out. You got to fight some pitches off. You got to get him a little fatigued so those fastballs get a little bit flatter. The breaking ball stays up a little bit more, and that changeup might hang.
Bottom of the fifth, Bulldogs got Ishikawa, Black, and Hudson due up here in this inning. Matt Stewart along with Jason Jacobs. Thanks for joining us for the series opener. We'll be back tomorrow, 2 o'clock start time, 2 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Central for the second game of the series. There had been some discussion during the week about maybe some adjustments being made. And if you keep up with college baseball, you'll see a lot of the schedules around the Southeast have already been adjusted before the series even started because of anticipated weather around the region. But it looks like they're going to, they were concerned about some rain here tonight. And it looks like if there is going to be some rain, it's going to be overnight and clear out before we play a 2 o'clock game tomorrow.
And luckily with the artificial turf field, it
yeah,
really holds water quite well. So as long as there's no lightning, you can get a game in.
Yeah, we saw that earlier this week on Tuesday against Troy where it rained significantly in the morning. And Ishikawa sends this one to right field, and it's off the top of the wall. Ishikawa is going to try to make it 3. Here he comes. He's going to be safe. Kenny Ishikawa, who hit his first home run as a Bulldog on Tuesday against Troy, gets his first triple as a Bulldog here tonight against Missouri.
And really the first hard hit ball here tonight. And he did a great job at getting himself into a quality advantage count. Took a close first pitch for a ball, watched it change up away. Gets that ball up in the zone, and that's not a pitch you typically see left-handers able to handle that ball up in the zone. And 105 off the bat. He got on top of that high pitch too. He gets underneath it, it goes out of the yard, but take the triple to lead off the inning.
I couldn't tell, did Seals get a piece of that and knock it back?
Awfully close, it hit the wall.
I thought it had a chance to get out of here, so I think so too. It got under Seals' glove somehow. And
yeah, I think it got over his glove, hit the top of the wall, and then bounced back.
So best scoring opportunity so far tonight for Georgia as Black is batting for the first time, and he did not go around as they appeal down to third base umpire Justin Robinson.
You got the corners in, so they might be trying to cut the run down at the plate. Anything hard hit to the corners, but the middle of the infield is back. So something on the ground by the pitcher should get this run in.
So Black was not in the starting lineup, subbed in after Henry Allen got hurt, running to first base. 1-0 is high and away, 2-0.
And again, falling behind. A couple of big misses from McDevitt. Kind of hitting that wall. This is that inning you got to battle through if you're a starting pitcher.
Two-0 pitch. Swing and a miss. 93.
And you see that fastball just beat him in a 2-0 count. And that's how it kind of jumps on the hitter. Black, of course, having his first at bat of the game here.
Picked up his 7th double of the season in the 5-1 win at Ole Miss on Sunday. 2-1 pitch, missed high, 3-1. Some big misses, as you pointed out, for McDevitt. For the first time this game, he's really missed some big ones.
Found himself some disadvantaged counts. Now, he threw a 3-1 changeup to Oriach, who ripped it foul, but here to Black, I think you stay hard. We'll see.
3-1 pitch. Lifted to deep left field. Jordan's going to have a chance on it. Here comes the tag from Ishikawa. Throw in not in time. And Georgia has a 1-0 lead on the sacrifice fly from Ryan Black.
Yeah, good execution there from Black again. McDevitt just kind of showing a little bit of signs of fatigue. That ball migrating up in the zone allowed Black to go ahead and be a little bit late on it, but still drive it far enough into the outfield to get the sacrifice fly.
Black with his 21st RBI of the season. That's 3 more than he had last year's first season with Georgia. Here's Brennan Hudson. saw, and we showed you the significant jump in home run power for Brennan Hudson this season. Wes Johnson says it's the weight room. Brennan was a little bit more specific about that weight room regimen that has really helped him improve his power at the plate. Talked about typically coming along, a lot of the weightlifting in the past had been kind of football type weightlifting. He said this has been more specific for baseball. Certainly has paid off either way. For Brennan Hudson, behind in the count, 1-2 with the bases empty. A run in for Georgia. Wow, hits off the elbow guard. So Hudson's aboard.
Yeah, it's got right off that elbow guard, really took off. Right at the top there.
Top of the elbow guard.
Yeah, the big misses from McDevitt, have not seen that. The first 4 innings he's pitched. I think this is a good meeting here, kind of settle things down.
And this is their first-year pitching coach, Drew Dickinson. He's been credited with some major improvement in this Missouri pitching staff this year. They're 25th in the country in hits per 9 innings and 30th in the country in strikeouts per 9 innings. O'Shaughnessy will bat. He was hit by pitch his first time up. That was the home plate umpire, Brian DeBrouwer. Was he talking about the eye contact?
Yeah, it was the eye contact. Shaughnessy looking down at the plate.
2 hit by pitch for McDevitt tonight. The guy that's on right now, the guy that's at the plate right now. And then again, another miss by McDevitt, who has lost his location a little bit.
Yeah, he was dialed in. It now looks like a little hit or miss.
Spin move throw to first. Back is Hudson, no problem. Lots of games now clicking in around the Southeastern Conference right now. Already today, we've seen Alabama beat Vanderbilt 5-0. So Alabama's already clinched that series. They've won it. Won the first 2 games. Won last night 5-4. Won already today 5-0. The game today moved up to avoid bad weather. There's a strike to O'Shaughnessy, and it's 1-1. Curveball.
Yeah, 2 big misses there with the off-speed stuff. He's become a little bit one-dimensional here as a hitter. You see that. You key in on the fastball, and if you see any other pitch, you just let it go.
So 2 balls and a strike to O'Shaughnessy. Hitters count for him with Hudson at first. Comes back with a fastball strike, and it's 2-2. O'Shaughnessy's last home run came in that game with Georgia Tech at Truist Park. A couple of Tuesday nights ago when Georgia lost to the Yellow Jackets 14-4 in 7 innings. Counts now 3-2 to O'Shaughnessy. See if Hudson's going on a 3-2. There is just one out. He is not. Swing and a miss. O'Shaughnessy swings and misses. It's 2 down now in the inning. So McDevitt now has 4 strikeouts. Colby Branch, one of his strikeout victims, back in the 3rd inning. Branch again swings and misses. It's 0-1. The 0-1 pitch, rifled into left field for an extra base hit. Hudson heads to 3rd. Branch pulls into 2nd. 2nd and 3rd for the Dogs with 2 down here in the inning. Branch's team-leading 12th double of the season.
Yeah, McDevitt tried to go back to that changeup. Probably swung through in the first pitch there and leaves it up in the zone. You can see it riding a little bit arm side. Catcher set up away, stayed over the middle, and that brings up the dangerous hitting Trey Phelps. So played perfectly there. I think not sending Hudson 3-2 allowed for Branch to be in this position. Now you got one of your best hitters top of the order hitting with 2 guys in scoring position.
Trey has one of Georgia's 3 hits tonight. That was a leadoff single back in the 1st. Base hit right here would give Georgia a 3-0 lead, and that pitch, diving stop by Cerna to keep it from getting to the backstop.
And we'll see how McDevitt plays this. Has had some success there with Dan Jackson getting the 4-6-3 double play in his first at-bat and striking him out last at-bat. Got the base open here. Phelps had some pretty good looks against him. Had the first hit of the game in his first at-bat.
You would pitch around Phelps to get to Jackson?
Depending on how this count goes. If I get to 2-0, I'm sure not giving in. So
it's 2-0 now.
2-0 here. Probably expect to see some changeup, some trickery of sorts. Definitely not going to groove one to him.
So you're talking about loading the bases for Daniel Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, the way that he's handled him in the first 2 at-bats, I mean, it's not ideal, but again, being behind 2-0 in the count.
You're a bold son of a gun.
Well, there's that changeup there. You saw the swing through. Now, this is a difficult at-bat for Phelps because you know he can really throw whatever he wants, almost like you're in a 1-2 count the entire time. Still got to defend against it, but you can't really get into a rhythm and just sit one pitch.
2 balls and a strike to Phelps. Fouled off right there in the batter's box, and it's 2-2.
And that was that hanging changeup right there. He just missed. Up in the zone again, left it arm side with Cerna setting up away. And now you're in a battle. Got to find a way to get that big 2-out knock.
Two balls and 2 strikes and 2 aboard with 2 out. Whoa.
Heck of a sequence there. I think that one could have gone either way. Missouri definitely wanted it. I think McDevitt really wanted it. This is a perfect pitcher's pitch.
Yeesh.
Right there on the outside corner,
Yep.
but
A little bit
like
out.
It missed.
Yep,
Looked like
a little
it
bit
missed.
off the plate. A little bit off the plate. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Fouled out of play. Count remains 3-2.
See, now Phelps has seen them all. Saw the changeup. Guess he hasn't seen a curveball yet, but he's seen a couple of changeups, arm side, fastball away. Been able to defend against it.
Trey Phelps Golden Spikes Award midseason watch list. SEC Co-Player of the Week a couple of weeks ago. Batting with 2 aboard. Called strike 3. McDevitt with a huge strikeout sends Phelps back to the dugout. Bulldogs strand 2 here in the 5th, but do get a run. Big time pitch from Josh McDevitt ends the 5th. Top of the 6th at Foley Field, an old-fashioned pitcher's duel. Matt Stewart, Jason Jacobs. I don't know why we call them old-fashioned pitcher's duels, but we do have a pitcher's duel here tonight.
I mean, there's so much offense in today's game. I mean, it is rare to see a 1-0 ball game this late.
Yeah.
Both guys have done a great job, really. You know, Colby Branch had a hard-hit double, Ishikawa the triple. Everything else has been pretty soft contact on both sides.
So Blaze Ward will lead off the inning. He was batting when Durnan got thrown out trying to steal second base to end the 5th. First pitch is fouled back, so it's 0-1 to Blaze Ward. Taps that one foul. So he's behind 0-2. Coach Jackson says Ward's that kind of guy that even if you get him in every plate appearance, he's going to get you in that last at-bat. He's their leading hitter in conference play at .344 coming into tonight. Did he go? He did not. It's 1-2. Bulldogs are 7-4 in Volchko's starts this season. I think he checked it. They did appeal down to third and got the confirmation from Justin Robinson down there. And that's a called strike 3. And Ward doesn't like it. He immediately turns and looks at his head coach in stunned silence.
Yeah, and I don't know if maybe he thought it was up, but I mean, it was all over the plate again. It starts in that
I think he thought it was up.
Batter's box, but yeah, it's right at the numbers.
Yeah, I think he thought it was up.
Yep.
7 strikeouts now for Volchko. McDevitt's given him 5. 7 total hits between these two pitchers and only 1 run scored so far as Cerna's at the plate. So that's another called strikeout for Volchko. What are we up to there? Is that 5 of the 7 or 4 of the 7? I've got 4 of the 7.
4.
It's 2-0 to Cerna. Looks like they're off to a rousing start in the Arkansas-Ole Miss game. They're already 3-0 in the second. Cerna takes ball 3.
Got to challenge the zone. Just looking at Missouri in their lineup, they're just slugging .410, only 40 home runs, 64 doubles. So
yeah, their
OPS really
OPS
got a challenge.
Their OPS is 15th out of the 16 teams. It's below 800. Here's the 3-0, and that's a 4-pitch walk for Volchko. Just the second walk for Joey Volchko, and the first since the second batter of the game. Here's Caden Peer.
No, that's a good bunt.
Puts down the bunt, could be trouble. O'Shaughnessy on the run, doesn't get him. 2 aboard now for Missouri.
Fantastic bunt right there.
That's their second bunt single of the game.
You see so many coaches, you know, when I was coming up at least, really focus on the directional bunting, first base side, third base side, but you know, so far Missouri's just done a good job of really killing the ball. I mean, direction or not, that's just such a long way for a third baseman to run. Shaughnessy was already playing up on the grass, so his ability to deaden that bunt, very impressive.
There's Donovan Jordan. He had the other bunt single back in the second inning. Ball 1 to Jordan. So 5 total hits for the Tigers tonight, and 2 of them have been bunts. The others are singles. 1-0, swings at it out of the strike zone, and it's 1-1. I mean, the Tigers are 13th in the conference in batting average. They're 15th in homers and RBI, 16th in slugging, 12th in on-base percentage. They've been offensively challenged most of the season. 1-1. And that's going to be ball 2, 2-1. Volchko can't see down into the Georgia bullpen from our vantage point, but I imagine we're probably close to getting some activity if we have not already reached that point. Here's the 2-1 pitch. That ball is hit high in the air but foul. Count now 2-2 to Jordan. And Scott warming up down in the bullpen. Matt Scott. Ball 3, full count.
Now Dan Jackson really working hard on those sliders. That's the second one in this at bat. Maybe missed down, definitely on the plate.
Tension building here in the top of the 6th. Payoff pitch, got him, big strikeout for Volchko for the second out of the inning.
Another slider here away from arm side, lifts it up just a little bit. And again, I think there's a good chance that Jordan thought that was a cutter out of the hand.
So 8 strikeouts now for Volchko. And here's Benson, the DH. The tying run out there at second base, but now 2 out. And there's a strike from Volchko. A 0-1 pitch is a strike, and it's 0-2 now to Benson.
And that was that same pitch he wasn't getting the third time there. He earns it. I feel like you hit a spot that consistently and it's that close. That's why I don't like that ABS system. That's something you can earn as a pitcher.
No balls and 2 strikes. Comes right at him, misses that time, and it's 1-2. His career high. 11 strikeouts came when he was a starter for the Stanford Cardinal. Against Santa Clara, had 11. Getting close to his Bulldogs career high. 1-2 pitch, got him! Strikeout, number 9. Volchko leaves 2 on as he leaves the mound. Been a gutty effort from Joey Volchko tonight.
pitchers duel on this Friday night, and Josh McDevitt doing his part. 5 innings of 1-run, 3-hit ball with 5 strikeouts, 0 walks. So he heads back out for the bottom of the 6th. And he's done a good job on Daniel Jackson so far tonight, who's hit into a 4-6-3 double play and struck out swinging in the 4th. Strike 1 to Daniel Jackson. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Bouncer up the middle and gloved by the shortstop and thrown out by Durnan. And Daniel Jackson is 0 for 3.
Yeah, gets that breaking ball across, kind of hit it off the end of the bat. Pretty smooth play over there by Durnan. Slow hit like that, you thought it might be a close play, but he had that quick release onto first.
Tigers 8th in the SEC with a .975 fielding percentage. 7th in errors out of the 16 teams with 38, so not too bad. And here's Lujo with 1 down in the 6th. Ball 1 to Lujo. He's not gotten the ball out of the infield so far tonight. He's grounded out to the 3rd baseman and the 2nd baseman. Hitting the count 2-0. What do you think about this day of individuality with the players wearing different colored shin guards and elbow pads and batting gloves and shoes? He's going lime green tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's what it is. It is what it is today. You got all the social media and the flair and the, everything that goes along with it. I think as a coach, I mean, heck, we had to be clean shaven unless we were on a winning streak when I was here. So.
What are you, on the Yankees?
Yeah, I mean, it was straight out of the Yankees rule book. I mean, you didn't have to wear our pants knee high. That was nice. That was a minor league rule for the Yankees. Might still be, but.
Lujo cranks this one deep down the line in left field. Is it fair or foul? It is a foul ball.
Boy, not by much. Wes Johnson was out there at the 3rd baseline trying to see for himself.
Wow, Lujo just missed the home run right there.
What's impressive about that is it didn't have a whole lot of hook. Usually if you hit the ball that close to the left field line, it's going to have some hook. But that thing stayed straight, hugging the foul line the entire time out. It just went foul. Not sure if you'd be able to see it from that angle, but
yeah, it's hard to tell.
Hard to tell.
Call made by Justin Robinson, the 3rd base umpire, who's looking right down the line and right through that fair foul pole. And here's the 3-2 pitch. Line drive to center field and going to be caught just shy of the track for out number 2. Here's Jory Oriach, and he's 0 for 2. Bulldogs came in averaging 9.5 runs per game, which is number 1 in the SEC. And not just number 1 in the SEC, but number 4 in the country. Been held in check by Josh McDevitt tonight. He's done a fabulous job. Opposite field line drive, and that's going to drop for extra bases. Oriach hits first, heads to second, and he's got a stand-up double. So Oriach with the double, and Georgia's got a runner in scoring position with 2 down in the inning.
Yeah, good 2-out double there from Oriach, just kind of serving it the other way, not trying to do too much. Again, that ball up the zone. Georgia, the last couple of innings, is starting to square some pitches up there against McDevitt. Saw Lujo almost go yard, and then deep fly ball to center, just missed it. Of course, you had the triple and the double. Ishikawa with the triple in the last frame.
6th double for Oriach, the 88th double for Georgia this season. They are number 6 in the SEC in that category, one of the few categories they're not number 1 in. And here's Ishikawa. He doubled his last time up. He tripled his last time up, pardon me. Ishikawa's starting to show some power. We hadn't seen that from him until earlier this week when he homered against Troy, but he hit 9 home runs playing for Seattle University as a two-way player last year. Pitch outside, 1-1.
And just watching him take BP, he's just so good at squaring balls up. It's a simple swing. It's really effortless. I think if he wanted to hit for power, he probably could. You just see a few more mishits and strikeouts. So I like the style. He stays within himself and just lets it show up.
Strikes this one well to center field. Peer back at the wall, has it right up against the wall as Ishikawa hits it well, but not well enough. Heading to the 7th, it's still a 1-0 game. And Matt Scott comes on to pitch for Georgia to start the 7th. The 6'7", 241 senior out of Reading, Connecticut, by way of Stanford. Pitched 3 seasons with the Cardinal, primarily as a starting pitcher. Here with Georgia in his first season with the Bulldogs, he has been a relief pitcher, making his 13th appearance. He's 6-0 with a 4.46 ERA. Has a whip of 1.49 and a 2.27 strikeouts to walk ratio.
He's going to have a fastball there in the mid-90s. It's a riding fastball. That means it just doesn't have a whole lot of vertical break. Stays on plane all the way there. And then really the second best pitch is that slider, which looks just like the fastball from that high arm angle. The bottom just drops out of it. Very tough for hitters to recognize. So similar to McDevitt, that fastball kind of starts everything for him, and you're going to see hitters react a little bit later than you normally would on the velocity that he puts up there.
So Maisonette will lead off the inning. Pitch outside, and it's 1-0. Volchko goes 6 scoreless innings in the start. Gives up 5 hits, couple of walks, 9 strikeouts through 108 pitches, and he would be the winning pitcher as of right now. Here's a called strike. 1-1 from Scott. Scott picked up his 6th win of the season in that he was the winning pitcher in that 26-14 win at Arkansas on April 18th. 2 Sundays ago. Ball is hit in the air and out of play. He gave up 5 runs in 4 1/3 innings and got the win.
That's why.
It is, as baseball's a crazy game, right?
Yeah.
I mean, here's McDevitt tonight. He has not given up but 1 run in 5 innings of work, 6 innings of work, actually. And he would be the losing pitcher as things stand right now. Swing and a miss and a strikeout for Scott to get things started.
Yeah, good action on this one. It doesn't stay as straight. Had a little bit of arm side run. And that got just about everybody. You can see Daniel Jackson kind of caught it awkwardly as well because that ball just took off. He gets the swing and miss.
Scott is the top strikeout pitcher for the Bulldogs per 9. And Seal stands in there and takes a ball 1. So Scott came in with 50 strikeouts in 36 1/3 innings, an average of 12 plus strikeouts per 9 innings. I don't know how I feel about that stat. I like it. Sounds good, but no one pitches 9 innings anymore, right?
I mean, it's the big league level. It's rare that they go 6.
That's what I'm saying. No one pitches 9 innings anymore, but we measure strikeouts per 9 or walks per 9 or hits per 9,
Right.
and nobody pitches 9 anymore.
Same could be said for ERA, I guess. So
That's right. It's all calculated off a 9-inning
innings,
game. Yeah. You're the math major. We're going to put you in charge of fixing all that. Swing and a miss. 1 and 2.
Yeah, you contrast that with, early on in the 20th century, mid-20th century, it was almost an insult to not finish a game if you were a starter.
Yeah, you don't come out.
You don't come out.
Yeah, you were being demoted within the game, right?
Yeah,
You pitched poorly if you came out.
that's right.
So 2 balls, 2 strikes. So they always talk about baseball and how baseball statistically is the true statistical game, how you can take the stats from then and now and compare them. That's true, but not totally true. Ground ball hit to the third baseman O'Shaughnessy, who throws him out. While it is true, truer I think than in any other sport, the game has changed dramatically. Think about the hitting game back in days further back, let's say 40s, 50s, 60s, a guy hit and maybe faced 1, maybe 2 pitchers in a game, whereas
true.
now you may face 3 or 4 pitchers in a game.
No, you're absolutely right. Style of game definitely has an effect.
And that second, third, and fourth pitcher that you face may be totally different than the one that started, and is certainly fresher because he's coming in out of the bullpen, theoretically. All this is, of course, theoretically. We assume that the reliever is fresher, but he might be pitching his 3rd game in 3 days, right?
Yeah.
So maybe he isn't fresher. Here's the 0-1, swing and a miss.
And Volchko and now Scott have done a good job with Loida. Got that single early on, got jammed, forced it out there. Good
Yep.
hitters do that, but they've done a really good job making the adjustment, really staying on the outside part of the plate to him since then.
The 0-2, and that's going to be tapped foul down the first baseline. Well, they got exactly what they were looking for in Loida when he transferred from South Carolina. They're looking for an experienced guy who knew the league. He hit 6 home runs, batted 345 games with the Gamecocks last year, and of course has easily exceeded those numbers here with the Tigers this year. But they moved him up to the top of the order. They felt like he was maybe a little bit too passive from a run production standpoint, batting further down in the order, so they moved him up to the top of the order. And he is their home run and RBI leader. 0-2 pitch. Again goes left side with it. Ishikawa drifting over to his right has it. And the Tigers are retired here in the top of the 7th. Time for the 7th inning stretch. Georgia leading this one 1-0. Maybe not what you were expecting in this series opener, but Georgia 1-0 lead on Missouri as we head to the bottom of the 7th. 9 total hits. Teams that combined to go 9 for 45. That's a 200 batting average. And 11 left on between the two. 7 left on for Missouri and 4 left on for Georgia. Georgia's lone run coming in the 5th inning following Kenny Ishikawa's triple. Ryan Black brought him home with a sacrifice fly, and he will lead off this inning. Is activity in the Missouri bullpen. McDevitt's at 89 total pitches, 90 pitches to begin the inning. Strike 1 to Black. Meantime, a little bit different kind of ball game going on at Turner Stadium. I'd like to say crosstown. It's not really crosstown, but it's in the vicinity where the Georgia softball team has rallied from a 7-2 deficit to take a 9-7 lead on Florida. So kind of a crazy game going on there. Crazy compared to this one, which has been rather docile from an offensive standpoint. 0-2 down the line in left field, going to be foul. Two o'clock Eastern tomorrow for game 2 of the series. That'll be here on Plus with me and Jason. And then on Sunday, noon start on the SEC Network linear channel. The 0-2 tap foul into the Missouri dugout. Look at the Missouri bullpen. Trey Lawrence is the sophomore right-hander, number 10. And Juan Villarreal is the senior left-hander, number 28. The 0-2 missed. It's 1-2. Arkansas is now taking a 5-0 lead on Ole Miss in the 4th. You know, with this no divisional format and every team making it to the SEC tournament, it's eliminated some of the drama as far as tournament race. There was always that storyline late in the season, who's going to make the tournament, who's not going to make the tournament. Now everybody makes the tournament. It's the only real race that matters now in the SEC is who wins the regular season championship. And Georgia looking to hold on to first place with a victory here tonight. They have a half-game lead on A&M, which is actually a little bit bigger because they already won the series from A&M, so they have the tiebreaker on A&M. Aggies playing host to the Auburn Tigers in a 3-game series in College Station this weekend. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Ryan Black. Outside 2-2.
Really got to love this at bat that Black's putting together here. Talked about Devitt coming in, 89 pitches. He spoiled a bunch on an already fatigued pitcher. That really bodes well for Hudson on deck to get that mistake if Black doesn't get it himself.
And now the count's full, 3-2. The next pitch will be pitch number 100 for McDevitt.
That would make it the 11th pitch of the at-bat.
Georgia Tech lost tonight to Xavier, 8-4. In 10 innings, 3-2, and that's going to be called strike. McDevitt gets the strikeout after going full with Black.
In a good battle, but a taxing one. Like I said, Black doing some good work there. Gets frozen here on the inner part of the plate, right at the knees. Another pitcher's pitch, very similar to the one we saw on Phelps, and that's going to be it.
McDevitt's going to be done at 6 strikeouts as Carrick Jackson, he hits 100 total pitches and they're taking him out, looks like. Yep. Man already at the bullpen gate. Let's see who it's going to be. Looks like it's going to be the right-hander, Trey Lawrence. Nope, it's going to be the left-hander, Juan Villarreal. How about the night for Josh McDevitt? 6 1/3, 1 run, 4 hits, no walks, and 6 strikeouts. 5th consecutive start he's gone at least 5+ innings.
That was fantastic. Like I said, the way he navigated that lineup the first time through and then was able to show them a different look the second time through. Kept a pretty good offense off balance.
Juan Villarreal, the senior left-hander out of Panama City, Panama. 6'6", 220. 2 left-handers in a row here, Hudson and O'Shaughnessy, but Black was also a left-hander, and they left McDevitt in there to pitch to him.
I think they were hoping he could have a nice, efficient inning and maybe navigate it again. Black did a great job, and I think this is the right move, as McDevitt might have been primed to make a mistake to one of these powerful lefties, but Villarreal, low 3/4, fastball is going to be in the low 90s, got a good changeup with a lot of downward action on it and a sweeping breaking ball.
16th relief appearance with a 1-1 record. Top of the 7th, Kentucky leading Tennessee right now, 6-0. That's a big game as far as the national picture. Like we said, there's no drama on who makes or does not make the SEC tournament anymore because everybody goes. They've gone to the single elimination format, but that's a game right there, that Tennessee-Kentucky game. I think 12 teams will get into the NCAA tournament out of the 16 teams in the SEC. And I think you're talking about a Kentucky versus maybe a Tennessee resume there. Perhaps Hudson goes down on 3 pitches as Villarreal comes in and takes care of business. 2 down here in the 7th.
And Villarreal did a good job there, having that fastball run back over the outside part and then finishes him there with that sweeping breaking ball. Did exactly what you do. Left-hander coming out of the bullpen. You own that outside part of the plate to a lefty and expand with the slider late. It's pretty textbook.
So 2 down in the inning. Here's O'Shaughnessy. O'Shaughnessy gives it a ride to deep right field, and he gets it out of here. Feeds the trees, and it's a 2-0 lead for Georgia. Home run number 15 for Michael O'Shaughnessy. Undaunted by the lefty-lefty matchup.
Yeah, that's a first pitch breaking ball. He hasn't seen one yet. Had to be sitting on it the whole way. And I think that kind of stunned Villarreal, who executed a good breaking ball. With how close O'Shaughnessy stays to the plate, that thing kind of starts behind him. And you can see he was locked in on it the whole way. Villarreal just trying to get one over to get ahead. And O'Shaughnessy jumps all over it.
15th homer, 42nd RBI for O'Shaughnessy. Georgia doubles up their lead, and that is going to be career homer number 50 for O'Shaughnessy. '15 with the Bulldogs, 35 with the Davidson Wildcats. Georgia now up 2-0 as Branch brings up the bottom of the order here with 2 down in the inning. But wow, what a stunner there by O'Shaughnessy. Send the first pitch from Villarreal right out of the yard. You see he is now tied for third among the team leaders. And Branch goes down swinging in the inning, so the Tigers pitchers strike out the side, but O'Shaughnessy clubbed one in the midst of those 3 strikeouts, and it's a 2-0 lead for the Dogs. Start of the SEC tournament in Hoover, Alabama. All games will be on the SEC network leading up to the championship game on Sunday. That'll be seen on ABC. Second season they've been in the single elimination format, and the top 4 seeds receive a double bye, meaning they don't have to play on Tuesday or Wednesday. They don't start until Thursday, and right now Georgia falls into that category as of right now, Georgia would be the number 1 seed. Georgia, one of the 3 teams, at least 3 teams, not among the brand new teams, that have never won the SEC tournament. Georgia's won a national championship, but they have not won an SEC tournament championship. Ball is hit to center field off the bat of Durnin. Lujo has it for out number 1.
Yeah, and I'm not sure Lujo saw that right off the bat, made an adjustment to go back, but it is getting to be that time of day, that twilight, or some of those balls could get lost up there.
Yeah, I've always found, just sitting where I'm sitting, and I'm not playing in the outfield with a
Right,
glove in my
right.
hand, it's hard to track the ball sometimes at this time of night. You see it's not totally dark. So sometimes that baseball can get blended in with the dusk or evening sky, and that's going to be a base hit by Ward. And what did Garrett Jackson tell us? Say, you might get him 3 at-bats, and that last at-bat he's going to get you. And he just picked up his first hit in his 4th at-bat of the game. So that means the tying runs comes to the plate. Georgia up 2-0, but, any base runner means we've got a tying run at the plate situation here in this game. Here's Mateo Cerna. He walked his last time up, and he's 1 for 2 tonight. Singled in the 3rd to center field. Scott looks in, spins and throws to first, a little bit closer than maybe Missouri was anticipating, as Ward just did get into that tag. Scott primarily a starting pitcher at Stanford before landing with the Bulldogs this year.
Ooh.
And that hits Cerna on the elbow pad, elbow guard. And now 2 aboard, the tying runs at first.
Third hit batter for Missouri there. Just did nick him.
That's one place where certainly the elbow guard has changed the game.
Mm-hmm. Not as
Because without that elbow guard,
You're getting out of the way, right?
You are not standing in there and taking that pitch off the elbow. That ball is hit to left field. Ishikawa has it tracked. 2 down in the inning, nobody advances as Pierre is retired. And here is Donovan Jordan batting for the 4th time. He singled back in the 2nd. Wearing that rare tight ends number, number 88.
That is not a number you see on the baseball field. Hold on, Wes Johnson out with a brisk jog.
That's a tight end's number right there,
Yeah.
or a defensive end. Little powwow on the mound as the infield joins Coach Wes Johnson here. Talk some strategy, defensive strategy for a Bulldogs team that is one of the top fielding teams in the country. Georgia at 983, second in the SEC. They're 9th in the country. The 983 would match the program record that they set a year ago. I don't think there's coincidence that the 983 in consecutive years also coincides with the fact they've got a new synthetic artificial field now. Has changed the game, not just for the Bulldogs, for all defensive teams around the country. Fielding percentages are much higher now than they used to be. No matter how good your grounds crew was, when you're playing on natural grass and a natural dirt field,
Right, especially in the summertime.
you're at the mercy of the elements.
Yeah, summertime when that ground would heat up,
Yeah.
clay would get hard. No
1-1.
matter how much you watered it, you're bound to get even a footprint from a cleat mark. Could be a big difference in hop.
Yep. Like you said earlier, it just is what it is.
It is what it is.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. Chopper on the infield. True hop for Branch.
Wow.
Throws and got him.
That is a good play right there. Showing the arm off deep in the hole. Had to wait on it with that high chop. but made up for that time, and he was pumped up after he made this play.
Hose from
chopper.
Kobe Branch. Got him.
Carries it all the way across. Great play.
Dogs up 2-0 as we head to the bottom of the eighth. 2-0 on the 125th home run that the Bulldogs have hit this season, which is by far and away #1 in the country, and on pace to set the program record to beat the home run record that was set in the 2024 season. 14 different players with home runs, and there's a look at the 6 players on the Georgia roster who have double-digit home runs. Last year, they had 8 players with double-digit home runs, which is the program record.
And it's wild to contrast that. You look at Missouri's lineup, just one guy with double-digit home runs. That's Woida with 10.
And Trey Phelps, one of those guys with double-digit home runs, will lead off the 8th. And ball 1 to Trey Phelps. Phelps with those 15 home runs is 9th in the SEC. He's 8th in the SEC in total bases and 9th in slugging percentage, 4th in on-base percentage, 4th in batting average at the start of the day. 2nd in runs scored, 5th in total hits. He's had a fabulous season. And in a lot of ways been overshadowed by Daniel Jackson.
He's really become a much more rounded hitter, especially since getting to the top of the order. I mean, double-digit home runs, a lot of those came early on, and he's really starting to spray the ball to all fields now. Taking his walk as well.
4-pitch walk. So that is the 16th walk for Trey Phelps this season. Couple that with the 27 hit by pitch. That's 43 freebies from the top of the order. And you mentioned top of the order. This is the 20th consecutive game they've had him batting leadoff.
I think he's really embraced that role, and it's made him a more rounded, as I said, hitter. Just sprays the ball. And Dan Jackson, happy to see the lefty right here. Had a tough time with McDevitt. The ground balls and a strikeout.
Yeah, been a quiet night for Daniel Jackson. He's 0 for 3. Has not gotten the ball out of the infield.
He is not. We've noticed a lot of teams trying to attack Daniel Jackson in. He has so much power opposite field, does a good job at tracking the ball deep. I think with this lefty and that ball moving away from him, it plays for him. Got to defend against the back foot slider.
He's sitting on 49 career home runs. 37 of them with the Bulldogs and 12 prior to that with Wofford. Swing and a miss. He's tied for 3rd in the country with his 23 home runs. He's 5th in the country with 67 RBI. He's also tied for 2nd in the country in runs scored with 63. And 3rd in the country with 150 total bases. going to be interesting to see how MLB teams react to him in the MLB draft this summer. You and I were looking at it wasn't necessarily a mock draft, just a rating of the players. I believe Kylie McDaniel of ESPN most recently had him rated as the 60th prospect in the MLB draft this summer, which would make him a second-round pick. Swing and a miss, and Jackson is retired.
Good changeup
Second
there.
time he's struck out tonight.
And a good pitch sequence there from Villarreal. I mean, really commanded the inside part of the plate early on with the fastball, and then gets him here with the changeup late. See the bottom drop out on that. That's one thing about McDevitt. And now Villarreal both really have good changeups with a lot of downward action. Swing and miss type changeup.
Here's Ryan Lujo, and he is 0 for 3. Flew out to center his last time up. Ryland started the night 8th in the SEC with a .353 batting average, and second in the SEC with a .403 batting average in conference play. And drives this one down the line. That's the second time he's hit it along the line. This one clearly foul, no question.
Yeah, Villarreal missed up with that changeup. It stayed flat, but anytime you see a ball up in the zone, you assume it's a fastball. So Lujo pulled the trigger a little too early.
Ball is popped up over on the right side, and it will be caught on the other side of the camera well over there.
Had to contend with the camera, but a good job there. Got to the fence. Realized he had to go back a little bit. A good adjustment. A nice defensive play there by Woida.
Phoenix over there hanging in there. You saw him waving to us. He didn't duck out of the way.
He held his ground.
Yeah, he manned up. Stood right in there.
Hanging in.
He didn't bail. He didn't crouch. Good job.
I like these offensive timeouts. Wes Johnson calls them at good times, but you can see here Phelps is basically holding the meeting saying this is what everything looked like. He had the 4-pitch walk. Imagine got a little bit of a scouting report, a live scouting report from O'Shaughnessy as well, seeing that breaking ball first pitch. Is this going to be a left-on-left match with a similar style hitter in Oriach to O'Shaughnessy? So some parting words on a good approach here in a tight ball game in the bottom of the 8th.
Oriach with a double his last time up. Never quite understood that. Why are you booing the pitcher for throwing over to first?
I was thinking the same thing.
It's
not even close to a balk.
Yes, it's not. Yeah, it's clearly not a balk.
I could understand if it was a questionable move over there, or if he goes again, then I understand the boos. But on the first one, I mean, come on. You see the catcher Cerna there, happy about that being a ball, making sure he's not going first pitch. Ventured out of the zone, and it was a purposeful out of the zone pitch.
It's the 1-0 pitch. Runner is going. Throw down and safe. Phelps has the stolen base as it kicks away, but not far enough for Phelps to advance any further.
And no shot for Cerna here. Phelps going first move. Had a huge jump. By the time Cerna got the ball in his hand, I mean, Phelps was 3/4 of the way there.
Yeah, that's 5 for 5 now, Phelps on the season stolen bases this year. There's a strike to Oriach, and it's not a lack of athleticism for Phelps. He's clearly a tremendous athlete. And I've heard some people talk about that. You know, why doesn't Trey have more stolen bases? Well, Daniel Jackson bats behind
yeah,
him.
right.
You
You're
don't want
already
him
in scoring position.
Exactly. You don't need him to get thrown out with Daniel Jackson at the plate, right?
It's a really good point. Yeah.
I mean, he can get stolen bases, but why risk it when you have one of the top RBI men in the entire country batting right behind him? In this case, right now, it's Oriach at the plate. Here's the 3-1 pitch, and that missed. A 5-pitch walk for Oriach. And now first and second for the Dogs. So here comes Kenny Ishikawa, and we've seen this week Kenny really starting to feel it at the plate.
Yeah, such a good job on barreling balls up. Show off a little bit of that power. Had a deep fly out to center field in his last at bat as well. So, like you mentioned, that power starting to show up here. I'm going to visit.
Drew Dickinson, the pitching coach for the Tigers, coming out to visit with Villarreal.
And it looks like Peoples is in the pinch run for Oriach after Oriach drew that walk.
That's kind of been Ty Peoples' role this season as a freshman out of Franklin County, not too far from here, up around the South Carolina line, getting in the ball game. He was a 20th round draft pick by the Toronto Blue Jays coming out of high school. Yeah, the home run that he hit on Tuesday against Troy was an absolute moonshot. That was really a kind of a classic looking home run with a high arc. Landed way up on the hill in right field. And another offensive timeout called here by Georgia.
And to get O'Shaughnessy now kind of holding court. And Oriach in there as well. Seems that starts at your hip. It's going to break away. Just kind of giving him an inside look at what it looks like once you're in the box. I really do like this because it's one thing to see a scouting report. It's one thing to see it from the on-deck circle, but you know, the best look is going to be a guy that's seen it from the box.
Nick Amorati, one of the hitting coaches for Georgia there, last guy out of the huddle. There's Brock Bennett, the third base coach, recruiting coordinator for this Georgia team. And so now Ishikawa digs in with 2 aboard and 2 out. Georgia looking to add to their 2-0 lead, and Ishikawa takes the pitch outside. It's 1-0. Ishikawa out of the University of Asia and then Seattle University after that. Runner goes, and Phelps is safe at third with no throw. Second consecutive stolen base for Trey Phelps. Back to our argument and discussion.
Right.
I mean, he can steal bases. That's not the question.
And he just timed it perfectly. Villarreal just forgot about him a little, so he continued to expand. He was already pretty much moving that way by the time Villarreal started his motion to the plate.
What that stolen base does do is on a pass ball, wild pitch that gets Phelps home.
And here with 2 strikes, maybe they put some action on with Peoples to try and steal a run. Seen them take off early with a righty. Hadn't seen him do it with a lefty where the runner at first will just take off.
How about a suicide, right?
Well, with 2 outs.
Yeah, I mean, Ishikawa, yeah.
Get some action there on the infield. With 2
no,
strikes might open some holes, you know.
You don't want to be thrown out first, but just to try to bunch your way on, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I say that in jest because brings up Ishikawa picked up the first sack bunt for the Bulldogs for the entire season last week against Ole Miss.
Safety squeeze.
Here's the 1-2, backed him off the plate.
Ishikawa got out of the way, and he's kind of regretting that. Could have gotten bailed out there. Of course, a lefty in black on deck. He thought it was going to be that slider. The way that it started, just like Oriach said, it's going to start at your hip. So he started to turn on it, and it just stayed straight.
2-2 pitch. Did he go? He did not.
Ooh, I'm not sure Justin Robinson saw that all that well. The way that he came out to give that safe sign, he kind of got in the way. I think he held up. It was close, though.
I think he checked. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Runners at the corners. Just got a piece of it and fouled it off. Kenny Ishikawa has already been drafted into professional baseball by the Oryx Buffaloes of the Nippon Professional League in Japan, his home country. He has until July 31 to sign with them, so the future for Kenny Ishikawa here at the University of Georgia, that's in play once we get to the off season. They operate under different rules in the Nippon Professional League compared to Major League Baseball. 3 balls and 2 strikes, runners at the corners. Runner goes from first, hit foul. Peoples will have to go back to first.
Peoples getting his wind sprints in. That's now 3 times he's had to do that.
Two 2-0 lead for Georgia here, bottom of the 8th. Runner goes again. Peoples throws it over the head of Ishikawa. Did it hit him?
They got him.
Hit him in the back of the helmet?
Yeah.
He says he's okay, so the bases will be loaded.
It's like a slider that never did break. Came out of his hand up and arm side and just stayed there.
Yeah, right on the back of the helmet. So bases loaded for Ryan Black. Ryan Black did not start the game. He subbed in after Henry Allen got hurt running down to first base earlier in the game, but Black did drive in Georgia's first run on a sacrifice fly back in the 5th inning.
And he had a heck of an at-bat against McDevitt. The last guy that McDevitt faced, a 10-pitch at-bat.
Villarreal looks in with the bases loaded, 1-0 pitch, and that'll be ball 2. Across the board, it's been a much better season, although his season last year was not bad by any means. More productive season here in his 2nd year with the Bulldogs than last year's rookie campaign with Georgia. There's a strike, and it's 2-1. Black batting .302 right now for the Bulldogs after batting .276 a year ago. He's got more RBI, more hits, more doubles. Outside, 3-1. More walks. That's perhaps the biggest transformation. He's doubled the number of walks he's had this year compared to last year. Bases loaded, 3 balls, 1 strike. Villarreal looks into Black, and the pitch. Right down the middle for a strike, and now it's full 3-2. Carousel will begin with the next pitch, and the runners will be going from every base. There go the runners on the 3-2 pitch, hit into left field for a base hit. Phelps will score. Here comes Peoples, throw to the plate, he scores. Georgia has a 4-0 lead as Ryan Black 2-run single drives in his 3rd run of the night. 2nd and 3rd run of the night.
Oh, you gotta love it. Black not in the starting lineup. Allen gets hurt. He comes in, and like you said, 3 RBIs since entering the ball game. A good piece of hitting there, just protecting with 2 strikes. Might have been ball 4, but too close to take. Finds a way to get a single and plate 2 runs instead of just the one that would have come across on a walk.
Now Georgia up 4-0 and 3 outs away in the top of the 9th from knocking down the win. And here is Brennan Hudson with 1st and 2nd and 2 outs. 7th man to bat in the inning. Strike 1 to Hudson. He's 0 for 2 tonight. Lined out in the 3rd, hit by pitch in the 5th, struck out in the 7th. 0-1 pitch, outside, 1-1. Georgia trying to pick up their 36th win of the season, their 16th in conference play. One. Hudson hits it to the left side. 3rd baseman Maisonet has it, and the inning comes to a close, but Georgia plates 2 here in the 8th. They'll take a 4-0 lead to the 9th. Georgia with 2 runs in the 8th takes a 4-0 lead here to the top of the 9th as the Bulldogs try to close out another victory and remain in 1st place in the Southeastern Conference. A&M playing host to Auburn this weekend, starting that series tonight. So Georgia will be, at least for the moment, a game up on A&M if they get the win here against the Tigers. Cameron Benson, the number 7 hitter, leading things off for the Tigers in the top of the 9th. Matt Scott out there trying to knock this one down and pick up the save. Scott has 2 saves on the season. More importantly for Georgia, that means they would have been able to get through this game using only 2 pitchers.
Yeah.
With 2 more games left in the series, beginning tomorrow at 2 o'clock with game 2. The 0-2 to Benson, struck him out on 3 pitches. Scott gets out number 1.
Boy, this fastball has a whole lot of arm side action today. Just 3 straight fastballs. They're just moving really, really well away on arm side, excuse me. It's not something, normally his fastball is pretty straight, so just putting a little bit more pressure on that pointer finger, I believe, to get a little action away from that left-handed hitter.
Yeah, as a left-handed hitter, how are you hitting that? A telephone pole?
You're not swinging. I mean, it's a chase pitch. It's just a chase fastball. A lot of times we've seen him try to get his fastball chased up in the zone, but here running it away from the lefty.
Here's Maisonette with 1 down in the 9th. Ball 2. Eric Maisonette 0 for 3 tonight. Struck out twice, flew out to left. Ball is hit out of play. How about the wild finish they had in softball tonight at Turner Stadium as Georgia knocks off number 9 Florida 10-9. Gators were trying to intentionally walk, and the young lady stepped up there and got a base hit on the intentional walk. A walk-off base hit on an attempted intentional walk.
I love it. I still think they should have to throw 4 balls at baseball to complete the intentional walk, but that's just me. You know, they did that to try and speed the game up, and at the big league level, a little more understandable, but anything can happen, especially at this amateur level in college.
3 balls and a strike. Bouncer on the infield. Phelps has it. Out number 2.
And great job there from the Georgia dugout. Right before that pitch, you can see Trey Phelps kind of laughing. He must have got the signal to move right where he was playing, because he shifted over maybe 2 or 3 shuffles. And the ball, next pitch just came right at him.
So Missouri down to their final out. Here's Seals. Ball 1. Seals has struck out twice tonight and grounded out. Scott delivers. Went around. 1-1. Had him tied up like a pretzel. One pitch from Scott, fouled off, and now Tigers down to their final strike. I will be back with you tomorrow at 2 o'clock with game 2 of this series. VCU versus Kellenbrink. 1-2 pitch. Missed, and it's 2-2.
Slider kind of backed up there. Actually had some arm side break, went down, but it also kind of broke into the hitter as opposed to away.
Dogs 25-7 here at Foley Field this season, 6-3 in the SEC. Game 2 of a 7-game homestand. Looking to close it out right here. 2-2. Got him. Georgia wins. Scott with the strikeout to finish it off, pick up the save. Volchko gets the win. Ryan Black didn't start, knocks in 3 of Georgia's 4 runs.
Hey, great pitching performances by both starters, and really the bullpen did a good job. This is a well-pitched game. You see the final strikeout there on the slider from Matt Scott. A good start for the Dogs as far as Missouri goes. They got to figure out something offensively. They had a couple of opportunities early they were unable to cash in on. That allowed Volchko to settle in and really put out a great outing, especially when he started finding that slider late and then passed the rope to Matt Scott. Got a great pitching performance from McDevitt. Unfortunately, they kind of wasted it because they couldn't get anything going offensively, and Georgia got the timely hit when they needed it and ended up victorious.
Career win number 120 for head coach Wes Johnson in just 164 games, as the Dogs are now 36-11 overall and 16-6, remain in first place in the SEC. Missouri drops to 21-24 overall, 4-18 in the conference. Our producer has been Bryson Wright, and our director Trey Morrow. Now from our partner Jason Jacobs and our fabulous SEC Network Georgia team, I'm Matt Stewart. So long from Foley Field. We'll see you on Saturday.